There you are. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I guess we were muted for just a bit here on this side, so that's quite unfortunate. Hope you all can hear me. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome aboard to the stream. There you are. Okay, hope you're doing well. Apologies. There's always one little thing. I'm doing everything by myself over here, but yeah, 2024 has not at all been disappointing. There's been so much going on here in this year. It certainly hasn't been the Willy Wonka experience, to put it that way, but yeah, a lot of stuff. The biggest one, of course, we're talking about is the Boeing whistleblower that was found dead in apparent suicide. It was Hillary Clinton over here, more or less. Yeah, this is big news because it just puts a big spotlight on the way that the airlines run a lot of stuff in this country, and they will probably get away with this too. But yeah. Star Force 97, he's not only a whistleblower, he's now a martyr. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy. And again, I mean, we made sort of a prediction of this. Remember that one April Fool's video that we did about the United Airlines files and getting assassinated? Which, by the way, I'm just going to put it here for the record now. I am not and never have been at all suicidal. I am of sound mind and always will be of sound mind. I would never do anything to do any harm to myself. So if anything ever happens, I did not do anything to myself. Let's just put it that way. Just make it clear for the record. I am of sound mind. I am safe. I am not going to do anything to myself. So let's put it that way. But here we go. John Barnett, 62, died of an apparent self-inflicted wound on Friday, the Charleston County Coroner's Office said. So this is in Charleston, in one of our guys' backyards over here. He was found in his truck at a hotel parking lot. Interesting. 32-year veteran of Boeing, Barnett's 2019 whistleblower allegations claim that overworked employees at its South Carolina plant frequently fitted substandard parts on planes and reported faulty oxygen systems that could result in as many as 1 in 4 oxygen masks not operating properly. So imagine you're in this situation over here, like this one. All of a sudden, a Boeing 787 that suddenly dropped in mid-flight, injured 50 people. Imagine that happening, and you lose pressure. Imagine the oxygen masks not coming out. Well, it's going to be a bit of a sleepy flight for you. Let's put it that way. But yeah. So, and let's go to this article over here. This is from Zero Hedge, this is one of my favorite sources because they don't really mince anything with words here, and they bring a whole lot of different sources together. Boeing whistleblower found dead in a truck from self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the latest twist of what can only be described as an onslaught of horrific news surrounding Boeing, or perhaps the sequel to the Hudsucker proxy, where a mysterious cabal is trying to spark a stock panic so they can buy the company for pennies on the dollar. You never know at this point, right? Came this afternoon when we learned that a key whistleblower employee, a former quality control manager who raised concerns about the firm's production standards, was found dead after an apparent suicide. And of course, they're not really coming out with too many details about how the suicide happened. But this guy did say that he has never been suicidal or anything like that, and he even told his family that if anything happened to him, that it's definitely not at all what it's going to be reported as. And well, yeah. And again, tests on emergency oxygen systems due to being fitted on the 787 showed a failure rate of 25%. Substandard parts removed from scrap bins and fitted to planes. So I mean, look at that. But yeah. Let's see, this is not a 737 problem. This is a Boeing problem, he said during a recent interview he took with TMZ, speaking out about his concerns with Boeing airplanes. Back in 2012, Boeing started removing inspection operations off their jobs, he continued. So,
one, this is not a 737 problem, it's a Boeing problem.
There you are.
And I know the FAA's gone in and they've done due diligence and inspections to assure that the door plugs of the 737 are installed properly and the fasteners are stored properly. But my concern is, what's the rest of the airplane? What's the rest of the condition of the airplane? And the reason my concern for that is, back in 2012, Boeing started removing inspection operations off their jobs. So it left the mechanics to buy out their own work. So what we're seeing with the door plug blowout is what I've seen with the rest of the airplane, as far as jobs not being completed properly, inspection steps being removed, um, issues being ignored. My concerns are with the 737 and the 787 because those programs have really embraced the theory that quality is overhead and non-value added. So those two programs have really put a strong effort into removing quality from the process.
Okay, wait, I've been muted again. Oh dear. Man, thank you guys. What would I ever do with it? This is why we're a club, because if I, mute myself, then somebody at least could tell me that I'm doing something wrong. And again, I apologies for that's 2 times I've been muted this. But yeah, what he's talking about over here is that the thing is that we're seeing this in a lot of other American companies where capital, because capitalism does work. The problem is that when capital goes over people, right? Because this is the problem with unfettered capitalism and communism. They're all talking about what to do with the capital rather than, well, what I mean, what's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of people? There's nothing more past the moral issues of is what we're doing right? And that's the problem with what Boeing has done and a lot of other American companies have done, is that they don't care what doing is wrong or right. They're making a buck out of it at your expense. And that's a massive issue. Here we go. Let's go ahead and put that link over there in case you guys want to see it. So there we go. In recent years, the public's attention has been focused primarily on the company's 737 MAX airplane, which was grounded briefly after 2 crashes in 2019, revealed a deadly corporate culture of cutting costs in corners, like I just said, which led to a collapse in the stock price and cost former Boeing CEO Dennis Muilenburg his job. But yeah, this is... If you want to see something funny over here, however, it now appears that concerns about airplane safety at Boeing should focus on the entire production line, or rather, some have speculated that Barnett killed himself to contain the damage. So there's a meme over there, like we just talked about. The news comes the same day Al Jazeera posted a video showing a walkthrough of the Boeing plant in South Carolina. There, when asking the employees if they would fly in the jets they are assembling, numerous employees said that they would not. Many employees are addicted to drugs and no one cares, a reporter wrote. That video is here, so here you go.
This is a Boeing factory in the US state of South Carolina. Workers here in Charleston are assembling the company's flagship product, the 787 Dreamliner. But this footage reveals some have little faith in the plane they build.
Did you fly in one? No. You won't fly in one. Did you fly in one of these planes?
No, not really.
Of 15 workers asked randomly, 10 said they would not fly on the Dreamliner.
I wouldn't fly on one of these planes because I see the quality going down around here.
An employee captured the footage after contacting Al Jazeera to tell us he had serious concerns about what he was seeing.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that employee is also of sound mind and he wouldn't do anything to self-harm himself. Just saying it for the record.
At his request, we changed his voice.
With all the problems reported on the 787, there's 90% that's getting swept away. Hushed up. It's an iceberg.
In another meeting, the source told us work.
Okay, so I muted myself again. This is I gotta simmer down a bit. Anyway, I have some leftovers from St. Patrick's Day. I might as well pour me a pint of Guinness, right? But anyway, here's what I was saying over here. So this guy, he has to be anonymous over here. This is the type of stuff that you do in a communist or tyrannical nation in order to make sure that you don't get yourself killed by the government or something like that. And here we are, doing it in this country with a corporation. I mean, just think of the way things have turned that this has to be right now. Anyway, thank you guys, the real heroes in the chat that are telling me if I'm muted or not. Really messing this up. But thank you guys. Thank you.
Problems reported on the 787, there's 90% that's getting swept away. Hushed up. It's an iceberg.
In another meeting, the source told us workers are often underskilled, uncaring, and in some cases on drugs.
I've seen a lot of things that should not go on at an airplane plant. People talking about doing drugs, looking for drugs.
It's all coke and painkillers and what's the other one? It's all coke.
Okay, so they're on coke, painkillers. By the way, it's funny where one of the safest places that you can go ahead and talk to somebody is at good old American Waffle House. I love Waffle House, but man, they've gotten expensive too. I mean, you can't even you used to get a meal for $5. Now you can't even. That was a couple of years ago. I mean, shoot, everything's getting expensive.
It's all coke and painkillers.
Coke, painkillers.
What's the other one? You can get weed here. It's really good weed here.
Well, the planes aren't the only one is getting high, it seems, right?
They don't drug test nobody.
I know they don't.
And there's people who go out there and lunch go smoke one up.
Do they?
Hell yeah.
Over the course of a year, Al Jazeera's investigative unit.
Yeah. So there you go. Thanks to as we can tell, the people who are working at this factory, they're obviously not Minecraft or Factorio or Sonic fans, right? They're hiring unskilled, probably also underpaid people that really don't care. The culture has degraded in Boeing, which is sad. It's American companies like this. They used to have a lot more loyalty, which I guess at this point now there's really no corporate loyalty anymore, which is honestly a good thing at this point, because why be loyal to a company if they're going to treat you like this and treat their products like this and cause absolute pandemonium in the nation's infrastructure system. So this is everything that's been going on with Boeing. So separate incidents: passenger door blown out midair, cockpit window cracked during takeoff, oxygen leak pre-flight, passenger notices bolts missing on wing pre-flight, lost wheel during takeoff, wobbled off, lost wheel after takeoff midair, plane arrived with cargo door open, landing gear malfunction, engine failure mid-flight, engine fire mid-flight. Which if you guys haven't seen that, look at this. Imagine looking out the window
Few moments caught on video at altitude.
and you see this. Oops.
Flames shooting out of the engine of a United Air.
Yes, it's the only thing that's not choking up at the Boeing factory. It's also the engines too.
Airlines flight, possibly an engine stall as the plane departed Houston en route to Fort Myers earlier this week.
Oh boy.
The aircraft, a Boeing 737, made an emergency landing back in Texas. United calls it an engine issue, adding the flight landed safely and the passengers deplaned normally.
Yeah. So, oh wait, if it's not that, then we have. Let's see. Here we are. American Airlines flight makes emergency landing at LAX due to suspected mechanical issue. Let me see on what the mechanical issue possibly remains unclear what the issue was. Just an issue, despite early reports that the aircraft had suffered a blown tire. So it's everything on the airplanes. Okay, it's not just the doors, or it's not just the stall systems in the cockpit or anything like that. It's the whole entire airplane is suspect to completely disintegrating around you. It's getting ridiculous. Let's see what else. Yeah, to the point that now all the airlines are freaking out because, well, they had a whole bunch of orders already put in and confirmed for Boeing, but now they want to rescind those orders. They don't want those orders. Southwest Airlines, they need more airplanes, but they have half their orders are Boeing's, and they don't want them. Here you are. Southwest has initiated a hiring freeze and plans to cut hiring by 50% in 2024 because of this. It's not business as usual, being very aggressive in controlling what we can control. So people don't want airplanes. People aren't flying. Look at that. The airline also plans to receive 21 737 MAX airplanes in 2024, but has removed those planes from its plan this year. And even United that breaks guitars, now they're stopping to make. They don't want any more MAX 10s. They're telling Boeing it's too much. It's too much winning. We can't take any more of this winning. And Boeing's like, well, you're gonna get so tired of winning. We're gonna make so many of these airplanes for you. I mean, it's insane. So now they don't want them. I mean, Airbus is gonna be making a whole lot of business, but again, as we talked about before, probably Boeing is not the only one doing this. It may not be as bad at Airbus because Airbus isn't the one getting the news, but everybody's getting a little bit more antsy on flying on an airline, getting a little bit more antsy and freaking out. More people are paying attention, which is a good thing, but it's getting to the point where it's getting a little crazy. Here's a couple memes, by the way. Screwdrivers, drills now permitted on Boeing flights to allow passengers to help with maintenance. There we go. And if you guys have any more memes, just drop them in the ARC Grand Central Discord. For you guys that are in the YouTube chat, go ahead and join us on the link there. We'll let you in. Here's another one. Be me, whistleblower from Boeing. Feel so bad for saying such mean things about an innocent company. Gonna end it all from the guilt. Whole gun like this. Pull the trigger. And then here's another one I found. I can't wait for Boeing to collapse so my mode of transport can rise from the ashes. That's kind of what we're hoping for at this point, right? Unironically, this is what we're feeling like here. But it gets worse, right? Because it's not just, well, it's already terrible enough that this poor guy was killed. I mean, it's honestly, look, at this point, if they're not giving that much information about what happened to this guy and they're leaving it up for speculation, and he has admittedly told people that he was fine, nothing is going to happen. I mean, yeah, it's getting kind of obvious. You can't really hide this. But, as it is here in this country, especially here in the United States, they classify something and then 20 years later they declassify it and say, yeah, we did it. So what? Who cares? What are you going to do about it? That's kind of the issue. It's not kind of the issue, but this is what Boeing does too. U.S. investigators say video footage overwritten of work on Boeing jet's door plug. Oops. Who could have seen that? Oh, it's just an accident. Just an accident. We don't know where that went. Oh well. Just like that footage of that one guy in that jail. All of a sudden, the footage, the guy that supposedly hung himself or didn't hang himself. Forgetting all that. What was that guy's name? The guy with the island. Okay. Oops, we lost the footage. Yep. So they pulled a who didn't kill himself over here too from Boeing. Yeah, it's seems to be quite the pattern here in America with American companies. So it's, weird, isn't it? Very, very strange. Very, very strange. Let's see. Last week, let's just start from the beginning here. The head of the National Transportation Safety Board said on Wednesday investigators still don't know who worked on the Boeing 737 MAX 9 door plug involved in a January 5th Alaska Airlines mid-air emergency, and that video footage was overwritten. Oops. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy said in a letter to senators that investigators sought security camera footage when the door plug was opened and closed in September, but were informed the material was overwritten. Overruled. The absence of those records will complicate the NTSB's investigation moving forward, Homendy said. How convenient. Now, the NTSB said previously that 4 key bolts were missing from the door plug that blew out on the plane. This is kind of a warning, too, I guess, to the bureaucracies and everything else. Don't investigate a little too much. Don't say a little bit too... careful what you say, right? Let's see. So Hamidi last week criticized what she called Boeing's lack of cooperation and failure to disclose some documents. Let's also say that Jennifer Hamidi of the NTSB is also of sound mind and would not do any sort of self-harm to herself. Let's say that before anything else happens, before Hamidi finds two bullet holes at the back of her head, or finds her self-driving car, wants to speed right into a wall, or that her empty barbell wants to fall into her neck. Just in case, just make sure that ruling all that out. Let's see. The names of the 25 workers on the door crew of the 737 factory in Renton, Washington. After Hamidi's comments, Boeing provided the 25 names. Were they Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse? I'm not quite sure. In the aftermath of the incident, the Federal Aviation Administration grounded the MAX 9 for several weeks in January, barred Boeing from increasing the MAX 9 production, and ordered Boeing to develop a comprehensive plan to address systematic quality control issues within 90 days. Well, if they haven't done it in 9 years, I don't think they're going to do it in 90 days. So, don't fly. This is a warning. Do not take a plane. This is this is getting really bad, guys. I mean, just you're playing with luck over here, right? Let's be honest though. I mean, flying on an airplane, there's less of a chance of an airplane killing you, and at this point, getting killed in the New York City subway. So now it's going full on. And I was going to do a whole thing. I was going to get an eye patch and a black wife beater and some, like a wig or something like that, trying to look the part, but too many things been happening the last week, so we're just going to have to pull all this into one. Somebody said that in the comments that America is turning into Brazil. I am watching the comments, by the way, and it's true. It's getting a little worse than Brazil, though. I mean, this is getting crazy. So here you go. A new plan outlined by Governor Katie Hochul calls for additional police presence, better coordination between law enforcement and district attorneys, and laws to ban people convicted of assaulting transit workers and riders, because that's also becoming a big thing too, is that we're seeing multiple articles of multiple agencies all around the country trying to address the issue of transit workers, bus drivers, train drivers, all getting attacked. You can't even do your job to help other people without getting attacked. You can't ask certain people if they can pay their fare, because then you'll get attacked. This is the country we're living in right now. So they're deploying the National Guard in there as well. So, but funny enough, the National Guard can't even have their own rifles there. So it's getting crazy. So New York National Guard troops and New York State Police troopers will be deployed into the subway system to help riders feel safe after a spike in transit crime, Governor Katie Hochul said Wednesday. The new deployments is in addition to the 1,000 New York City police officers who were ordered to patrol subway lines, do security checks on bags in the nation's largest transit system last month, following an attack on a conductor, another high-profile crime. So, getting thrown into the tracks, terrible things are happening over there. So, Hochul announced the deployment of National Guard troop as part of a 5-point plan to protect subway workers. And let's see if we can go into that. I don't know, does this article have the 5-point plan, or just a lot of words, but we know what's going on over here. So, it's pretty crazy. Let's see if this one has there we are. Outline of the 5-point plan. Thank you, Mass Transit Magazine. Governor Hochul noted her long working relationship with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and explained the new plan was developed with the intent of filling in the gaps not addressed by past efforts. So there you go. I guess stop and frisk is back, but it's stop and check. They're not calling it frisk. They're calling it stop and check now. They have to change the words. We never did stop and frisk. We were never at war with stop and frisk. We've always been at war with stop and check. The 5-point plan to address safety on New York City includes additional state personnel to assist the New York Police Department with bag checks, new state bill to ban people who assault riders, as well as transit workers, improved coordination between law enforcement, transit personnel, and district attorneys, new cameras on and in conductor cabins, a $20 million infusion of state funds to expand the scout teams. Now, I'm not quite sure what the scout team or what that actually means, but I'm pretty sure it's not something like a ranger battalion of New York State troopers or something like that inside there. I don't know. At this rate, that's what you're going to need to clean up New York is the 75th Ranger Battalion at this rate. The final point of the plan involves a $20 million state investment to add 10 additional scout teams to the system. Not quite sure how big those are. These teams, which have the backing of police, were developed in partnership with New York City to assist people dealing with severe mental health crisis. If you want to call it that, is it going to help the United States or the Congress at this rate that's suffering through a mental health crisis? I'm not quite sure. These teams assist New Yorkers in gaining access to mental health treatments and supportive housing. Okay, so it's certainly not the 75th Ranger Battalion they're sending in. It's certainly nothing that's going to be really helpful to support or stop any sort of crimes over here. Oh, man. The scout teams operate in addition to the Safe Operation Support or SOS teams, the acronyms they find, that work to conduct unhoused individuals with stable housing. I mean, you're just covering up the problem. I mean, isn't the problem is that your city is just an absolute nightmare to live in? How about you fix that instead of, we'll just put them somewhere else. We'll just give them a social worker to help them out, Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we all saw the Joker, the last one. How much did that social worker help out? I mean, seriously, it's a whole city just devolving into madness over here. Okay, so I guess we can't ride on the some of the trains over here. I guess we're just gonna have to drive. Well, you gotta be careful who's driving next to you because let's see.
Race courses to distracted driving and losing control on wet and snowy highways. Guardrails have saved thousands of lives since they were invented in 1933.
The guardrail system behaves a little bit like a rubber band, capturing the vehicle by deflecting and stretching in tension and then redirecting the vehicle and then thereafter.
As cars and trucks have grown larger in America, guardrails have gotten tougher, but new crash tests have found many current guardrails are no match for electric trucks and cars.
Whoa! Let's see that again.
Match for electric trucks and cars.
Yeah, so be careful because midlife crisis Mike in his $80,000 or $120,000 Rivian, he's feeling all proud about his purchase that's completely falling apart. Well, it's gonna fall apart faster when it completely sideswipes you after he's had one too many Bud Lights. Midlife crisis Mike in his electric truck. Till he slams you and completely turns you into dust. That's so. There you go. I guess we can't really drive now.
With heavy batteries.
Look at that. It just lifted up at least 10 feet in the air. Look at this.
With heavy batteries.
Man.
Batteries.
It revealed that our guardrail systems are not yet suitable to capture the vehicles across the weight and size spectrum that we are encountering today.
This is the problem, right? Is that these cars are just getting larger and larger and larger, right? You're going into an asphalt arms race out there every time you put yourself in the driver's seat of an automobile. And it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. I'm not going to even go into what I had to deal with today driving home. This is a completely different story, and I'm already ticked off as it is with driving. That I'm changing my plans of what my next car is going to be. I've had it. I'm done. The American driver is there needs to be a complete change. But look at this. Just goes through it like nothing. Just whoop. There we go. Wait. Woo! Oh man.
60 miles an hour. This 7,000-pound electric pickup plowed right through this.
I mean, what are you going to do with a 2.5 ton? Or no, it's not even. We're talking about a nearly 4-ton truck just smashing into you. And of course, it's going to be worse because the the center of gravity is lower because all those batteries, and those batteries are way about a Honda Civic themselves, right? And not just an older Honda Civic. We're talking about a modern Honda Civic on an American diet, right? He's had too much McDonald's, too much Diet Pepsi. It's not helping him. But yeah, that whole entire weight is right on the bottom of this thing, all the way down. But
The steel guardrail. Cody Stoley and the team with Midwest Roadside Safety Facility at the University.
yeah, so that's one thing we have to wait. And it's not just the trucks.
Also put this electric sedan to the test. It sliced right through and underneath the guardrail.
Well, at least the nice thing is that those tech bros who insisted that they had to buy a Model 3 are going to get a nice haircut too, it seems. It's I am glad I didn't buy one of those. But yeah, look at that. And that's the thing, it's just getting worse, right? The infrastructure is starting to fall apart because larger and larger vehicles continue to take place in America's automobiles. And there's not really any respite in sight because the infrastructure itself is falling apart at a faster and faster rate. So look at this, the bridge collapse that happened in Pittsburgh and the dozens of other bridge collapses that have been happening around this country. That's just going to become a normal thing. Here we go. America's bridges are falling apart faster than expected. There we go. States ranked by the number of bridges in poor condition. So Iowa, number 1. And Iowa's not a big state, or let's put it this way. Iowa is not a very populated state. And there's 4,504 bridges in total. Not per capita, per total for the state of Iowa. Pennsylvania, that's something we expected to see there. Illinois, that's something we expected to see there. Oklahoma, not something we expected to see there. Missouri, okay, yeah, Missouri's kind of bad. If you guys have ever been to St. Louis, that's a complete crap hole in itself. That's getting to close to Haiti levels. Well, at this point, Haiti is its own. That's a complete disaster. It's beyond disaster. New York, yeah, expected to see that there. Louisiana, yeah, well, New Orleans. So I mean, yeah. California, yeah, definitely expected to see that on the list. West Virginia. You know what? I kind of expected West Virginia on that list. Maybe I did. And Ohio, of course. Ohio. Oh, the lovely neighbor of Ohio. But yeah, 36% of the nation's bridges. That's 1/3. A little bit more. A tiny bit more than 1/3 of every bridge in America needs major repair work or replacement. And this was 2 years ago. This is February 5th, 2022. All right, so every time you cross a bridge in America, do 3 Hail Marys, 1 Our Father. Maybe you'll make it. Maybe you'll make it. But okay, so maybe I won't take my own car. Maybe I'll take somebody else's car. Well, because Minneapolis voted to at least maybe raise the pay of Uber and Lyft workers that get paid pretty terribly itself. Uber and Lyft are saying goodbye to Minneapolis. They will not pay them that much more. For a local minimum wage of $15.57 an hour. And look, for a company like Uber and Lyft, they just own the system, right? They don't own. There's no capital expenditures that they own in terms of the actual vehicles, right? They don't own those assets. Those are the poor people who are working for Uber and Lyft. Those are their own cars. They're not Uber and Lyft are not paying for the repairs in their cars. At least in a taxi company, the taxi company is responsible for upkeeping all those cars, but not Uber or Lyft. So yeah, maybe getting the cheaper rides, maybe it really wasn't worth it. Probably not. And it's just going to get worse from there, right? Because how many cars are in the world? Well, according to this, we have an estimated 1.47 billion vehicles. And I like how this article starts out. They say money makes the world go round, but I have a sneaking suspicion that cars are actually doing the job. The number of vehicles on the road around the globe has skyrocketed over the past 2 decades, despite a global pandemic and 2 recessions. So it's changing the way we get around in the world, right? It's completely changing the way everything works here. Let's look at this. Again, if you take a view from space, if you're an alien civilization or something looking down on Earth, You probably don't want to come down to Earth, where we're crazy enough as it is. Don't come. We will certainly get to a Helldivers 2 sort of situation anytime some aliens come over here. We don't want it. It's going to turn into Warhammer 40K and Starship Troopers very soon. But look at this. You think that cars are the dominant species on planet Earth. There was a Canadian, I forget the exact name on it, or it's called What on the Earth. It's from like the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Their version of PBS over there. This was back in the 1970s, talking about the complete massive urbanization nightmare that everybody's going through. And here's another thing. So for those of us who had to suffer through government-mandated fake time travel, daylight savings time, dangers, deadly crashes spike, studies show. And I did put this as a post last week, and hopefully you guys took more care because there have been studies that drowsiness increases in drivers. We just got to ban this. That's one of the first things that need to be banned before taking control of everything. Just daylight savings time, done. Just leave it on normal time. That's it. Leave it on normal time. There's no need for this. It's archaic, it's stupid, it's silly, and it kills people. Yeah, look at this. The study, which examined over 732,000 fatal crashes, showed a 6% increase in fatal accident risk in the United States following daylight savings time. We're talking about at least a good standard deviation or two. Just so many silly things that we're doing. And again, because everything has been getting worse and worse, drivers have been getting worse and worse, all these systems, all these automatic systems to take control of driving, that we have to give it to the robots to go ahead and drive us. Well, if you want somebody to drive you, why don't you just take a train at this point, right? But even then, I'll have to get a car to work because, unfortunately, my city doesn't have good public transportation. Well, unfortunately for us millennials, and the Zoomers included, because we're all on the same crappy train here, crappy bus, crappy boat, whatever you want to call it, can't afford the cars. Inflation has gotten over the roof, and the cars are getting repoed at record levels. Millennials increasingly seeing their cars face repossession, with calls to attorneys regarding the topic reaching levels not seen since the pandemic. You didn't pay your note, it's going away. But yeah. By the way, like a couple weeks ago, I was just going through YouTube. I just got caught in a train of just seeing these repossession videos. It's kind of crazy, the amount of situation. And funny enough, most of them are in South Florida. That's the funny thing. It's like Miami Repo Man or something like that. They're all happening mostly in Florida, which I'm not surprised. Okay, as a native Floridian and someone born and raised in Miami, I'm not surprised. But this is just crazy. The number of calls received by Legal Shield provided attorneys regarding repossessions reached its highest mark in 2021, when most of the U.S. was still under the COOF, with Gen Xers and Millennials making more than double the amount of calls than they did in January of the previous year. So yeah, Gen X too is not getting away on this unscathed. They're also going to suffer the wrath. But yeah, can't afford a car. No, maybe that helps, but can't get killed by a car. But hey, this is the problem when we put so much of our eggs in one basket on the automobile. Because how many times have I said this? That for those, especially for the NIMBYs that have argued so much against any sort of rail project within their jurisdiction. I have said this before. When it comes to going ahead and getting a rail project put through, it takes so much effort. It takes so much of an uphill battle. But yet, if the government wants to go ahead and build a road, they're going to do it. And they don't care. Like what happened to this poor 55-year-old Meemaw over here in Kentucky. Widow facing eviction from a home of 55. Well, she's more than 55 years old. But she's been living in this home for 55 years. His highway expansion plan goes right through the middle of her property. So, yep. When the government wants to do something, they'll do it. They will do it. So it's obviously not a matter of money. It seems to be more of a matter of will. Oh man, this music is horrible. Let me see if I can. There we go.
That way, or a little farther up that way. Why does it have to come through my house.
Yep, right through. It's going to go right through. So there you go. 63-acre property. And she probably bought it in 1969 for probably a fraction of the cost that A, the government is probably going to pay for it, and B, probably what you would pay for a house. I mean, look at this. Yeah, it's, a decent-sized house, but 63 acres of property. I mean, shoot, the amount of stuff you can do with 63 acres. But yeah, gone. Just like that. Because guess what? Hey, you can go ahead and complain all you want to the code enforcers or to the DOT meetings or whatever. Well, sorry, looks like we're going to build it, and all our environmental engineers have already signed off on it like this. No 3-year EPA or EIS study or anything like that. Nope. Boom, right through your neighborhood, right through your house. Welcome to Mama's property. Yeah, well, fortunately, the government didn't see it that way. Not your property. So much for property rights in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeehaw! Gone. Yep, and that's it. They'll just build it. Don't care. Here, initially told she might lose part of her property due to the eminent domain project, but current renderings have the new highway going straight through her home. Let me see. So what was the excuse? Her proposition to move the road in front or behind her home was waived off after officials claimed developmental and structural issues prevented any other configuration. Oh, there was no way we could do it. I'm sorry, ma'am, but there's absolutely no way we could do it. Just straight through your home. Yep. Reportedly being paid for a property, probably a fraction of the price. Her family told the outlet she doesn't care about the money. She wants to live here remaining years in her home. Well, looks like it's not happening. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Yeah. But so here's something crazy. So let's take a break from the disaster that our country's becoming, and let's look at another disaster, Germany. I mean, look, at this point, every country right now is a disaster in some way or another. Germany, yeah, probably maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But at least they have working trains. Well, no, not too much right now. Here we go. If it would unmute itself.
Competition was empty on Thursday as Germany faced strikes on several fronts, affecting millions of people. Train drivers and airport workers walked off the job, adding to the country's economic woes at a time of looming recession. It's the latest in a wave of industrial actions to hit the country. High inflation and staff bottlenecks have soured wage negotiations in key parts of the transport sector, including national rail, air travel and public transport. Train drivers began a fifth round of strikes early on Thursday morning, with just 1 in 5 long-distance trains running, rail operator Deutsche Bahn said. It accused the union of refusing to compromise, but stranded passengers showed some understanding.
Das gefällt mir nicht so, aber
I don't like it that much, but if that brings something, if people want to change something, why not? I can use other trains instead, or travel by regional train. Or I can just not travel at all.
It's nice to have those options, right? Well, that train's not working. I can take another train, or I can just, not go because, in Germany they do have much, I would say, better or more protective labor laws. Maybe not exactly better, depending on what your take on it is. If you're a company, probably not better. Walmart didn't have such a good time in Germany, so they probably wouldn't be in agreement that Germany's labor laws are better. Let's put it this way, they're more protective, you could say, of their employees.
Also on strike were airline ground staff at Lufthansa and security staff at some airports. In Frankfurt, Germany's busiest airport.
I guess even the airlines are not excluded from this as well. So look at this. Yeah, for industrial action on Wednesday. I accidentally muted myself again.
Our regional trains.
Busiest
There we are.
airport. 650 of the 1,750 planned flights were cancelled, according to the operator Fraport. And further woes were brewing for Lufthansa, as cabin crews voted for industrial action on Wednesday. Reporting on its annual results, Lufthansa warned that strikes were a factor that would lead to a higher than expected operating loss in the first 3 months of 2024.
Yeah, things are getting crazy around the world. And again, it's not just the railroads or the airlines or anything else, because, again, for a globalized economy, the globalized economy that we are, we just love globalization, right? Well, container rates, because demand has been so high to go ahead and ship so many things all around the world, container rates have dropped to unsustainable levels, according to Maersk CEO. So yeah, I don't think Lloyd's of London can even cover this, because this is such a major disaster. So for those of you that are not too familiar with this, because of the coup and after the coup, you had a whole lot of demand for getting a whole lot of products because of, of course, globalization and products from China, Asia, Europe, wherever it is. That's basically the way. We don't really produce anything here in this country that much anymore, or most countries don't really domestically produce that much at this point. But they're sending so many things all over across the world. In fact, it's become so cheap that you can take oranges that you make in Chile, and shipping is so cheap that you can go ahead, put them in a container ship. By the time they get to, let's say, the Philippines or Thailand, they're already ripened. They'll go ahead and can them over there, and then they'll ship them all the way back across the Pacific over to California. And guess what? It will be more expensive to go ahead and take it out of the port than it was to go ahead and ship all those oranges back and forth across the Pacific. So yeah, this is the consequences. Industrial revolution and its consequences, you could say. But yeah, look at this. This is just, it's getting insane. An influx of new container ship last year added 9% to the industry's global capacity, which is expected to increase by another 11% this year. So yeah, profits are just going to, it's just going to, not just that, I mean, the shipping rates are just going to continue to decrease, and there's nothing that they can do about it. That's just the way demand is. I mean, unless, of course, unless a certain war in a certain place with a certain favorite ally of the United States, if that war continues to get worse and worse, and certain people in a certain place begin to attack ships in a certain area, then yeah, maybe we'll finally start to see an increase. I don't know, it could be warranted at this point in order to get the prices up. You never know. You never know what these people will do. Okay, we had enough bad news. I think we've had enough bad news here, right? But let's go ahead. Let's see some good news, right? It's a little bit funny news. So, new high-speed train from Vegas to South California will be a model for the nation if it succeeds, right? So, actually, let's go ahead and move this a little bit forward off. I want to, let's see, let's talk about, not that one yet. Not that one yet. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Okay, never mind then. We'll just go to this. Might as well. New high-speed train from Vegas to Southern California will be a model for the nation if it succeeds. So when Simon Akinwolere, a 27-year-old cruise director, needed to commute from Orlando to Miami. Geez, 27-year-old and already a cruise director. Wow. All right. What am I doing in life? He sorted through his travel. Which, by the way, they make a ton of money. And I've been on plenty of cruises. My dad used to work for Royal Caribbean. These guys, the cruise directors, make a good ton. They're basically the MC for the entire cruise. 2,000, 3,000 people on a ship. They're MCing all the entertainment and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, he could drive the 235 miles, spending 4 hours dealing with traffic, stress, lost work time, and gas stops. Flying would be faster, but he'd endure security lines and baggage hassles at 2 busy airports. He settled on a new third option. The third option, you could say. Buy a train ticket that promised a 3.5-hour ride, access to a conference room, and a free buffet with self-serve beer and wine taps. Ain't that just cool? A privately run train line between Orlando and Miami called Brightline has become Akinwoleri's favorite way to shuttle between the two Florida cities since the new long-haul service started in September. I come from England, so trains are my bag, he said, explaining his decision to pay $149 for one-way, first-class seat on his way to catch a Miami flight to Cozumel, Mexico. President Biden is depending on people such as Akinwoleri and more than a few additional American converts to realize the long-forestalled dream of revitalizing passenger rail service in this country. By the way, I don't know, maybe he's asleep, so maybe it's still a dream in Biden's mind. I'm not quite sure, but this is something we've been asking for decades, for years. Almost 10 years in this club, coming up soon. Biden, a train enthusiast, to spend his Senate career commuting from Washington, Delaware, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Florida's train reaches speeds of up to 125 miles an hour is owned by Brightline, the same company behind an even more ambitious test project, Brightline West, a $12 billion, 218-mile route between Las Vegas and Rancho Cucamonga that promises even faster train travel as the first true high-speed rail in the United States. Brightline executives are hoping to open the western route with speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. We keep changing from 186 to 200, but anyway. By 2028, in time for the Los Angeles Olympics. They plan to break ground in the spring and complete financing. So this is, again, stuff that we've been talking about for years. And we're fully behind this, right? Our goal is that this train that primes the pump. This is the train that primes the pump, said Wes Edens, a private equity billionaire and founder and chairman of Brightline. Once you have proof of this, many more will follow. If you build it, they will come, so it seems that it's working for Brightline. Specialists who studied the Brightline West project, the only high-speed rail project with labor deals, right-off-the-way access, and environmental permitting completed, says it holds a better chance of success than the California high-speed rail route from LA to San Francisco, a publicly funded project. But they are not uniformly sold. Oh boy, Pool the Tool. Speaking of people that we just love to talk about on this channel, Robert Poole the Tool. He's giving us well wishes, guys, so this is a good thing, right? I wish them well, said Robert Poole, Director of Transportation Policy for the Lolbert-leaning Reason Foundation, and a Florida resident. Oh boy, of course the boomer would move down to Florida. Oh boy. Who has become a big booster of the project there. Oh, wait, now he is. I hope the plan works, but I'm scared. Wait, what? Any Florida resident who's become a big booster of the project there? Are they saying that now Robert Poole is supporting Brightline? Wait, what? Okay. All right. Okay. That's new. That's weird. That's very weird now. I hope the plan works, but I'm skeptical. Okay, so he's on the fence about it now. Let's be fair. He's on the fence. The recent high-speed rail in the United States have faltered while those in Europe and Asia thrive. American population centers tend to be spread farther apart. We've already gone over this. If we take it by regions, let's say the Midwest, let's say the South, let's say the Northeast, let's say the Southwest. You break it down by regions, or you break it down by state. Certainly, you can have high-speed rail by state. The problem is that when people get in their mind, they take the United States and conflate it to a European country and saying, well, that works in that European country, but it can't work in the United States. If you take the United States and break it down into, I don't know, it's 50 states, which those are states in itself, nations, it's a synonym for that, you can go ahead and make this work. Because there are plenty of cities within those states and within those regions and within those states, neighboring states within the regions, that make it between less than 300 miles, 400 miles, 500 miles, which is the sweet spot for where high-speed rail makes the majority of its market share compared to driving or flying, which is what we want. We just want a third option that we can go ahead and say. Because here in Germany, well, not here in Germany, because I'm definitely not in Germany. Well, I'm in Indiana, which is pretty German. You have certainly not in its infrastructure, but you have options, right? Like this woman over here is talking about, well, I can take another plane or I can take another train. I have options. If only we could have those options here in the United States, right? The Brightline's executives said they traveled to Britain, France, Spain, and Japan to absorb all the right lessons, choosing routes that can be built with fewer legal fights over land and environmental impacts. And they said they found the sweet spots, there we are, on the map to make those rail projects work, connecting 2 points short enough to beat air travel times, but long and dense enough to attract drivers seeking less stressful rides. The company estimates that 50 million people per year travel between Southern California and Las Vegas, more than 40 million of them in cars. So, yeah. This is what we're hoping for, right? This is the future that we're looking for over here. And again, it's a pretty long article. A lot of the stuff we've already talked about before. Complaints of death and noisy whistles. So we'll talk about that in another article. But if you want to see something funny, speaking of California, so this is in 10 years that we have been a part of this club. What used to be first the High Speed Rail America Club and now the American Rail Club. This has become a reality. There are people going ahead and riding Brightline. There are people using Brightline. There are people using it for their daily lives, for their work routines, for their routines to get from point A to point B. So it's become a part of life, almost normal life in South Florida in more ways than one. And we'll get into that at a certain time. But in the great old state of California, have they put in a train yet? No, but they're going to show you what the train looks like. Whoa, instead of a 3D render now, what do we finally get from California? They're going to actually show off a train. Well, here we go. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. Is this like did they hire the people who did the Willy Wonka experience? Look, wait, hold on. Wait. Let's prime the pump here.
Alright, here we go. I give you Willy Wonka experience.
Where am
I mean, they just took like cardboard from, I don't know, U-Haul, or they went to Home Depot, they put on the Home Depot theme song for like 20 minutes, and this is what they got. Wait. Oh, wait. Here we go. Hold up. Oh, wait. Here we go. Hold on. We gotta make this perfect. Okay? Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. There we go. Wait. No, don't buffer! There we go. You can see the screws. Oh no. Oh man. This is just absolutely just. What? California. What is this? What? After billions of dollars in funding. 10 years. I mean, yeah, you guys have built the viaducts, you built concrete. But what is this? What? There's no excuse for this. Look at this. Oh boy. Here, you want to see the bathrooms? I mean, this is so completely low effort and such a joke, and it's embarrassing, right? Because I I've been supportive of this, despite so many pitfalls of California high-speed rail. At this point, I just want to close my eyes and see this get built. All right, and I've talked to some of the guys over at California High-Speed Rail Authority, and we've done interviews with them and put them on this channel and everything. And we support California having high-speed rail. But, I mean, what? I mean, they could have just gone to like a Siemens factory or just not done this at all and just waited until they picked a constructor and then just done a tour of the factory. Or have just shown the trains being made, or shown taken a Avalia Liberty and just put Post-it notes and cover up Amtrak and just put California, just, you know, doodles of California high-speed rail. That would have been a better. Oh boy, I can't wait. These are such comfy seats. Look at that. Can't wait to sit on the. Oh man. Oh. All right, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I really don't. Nope. Stop. There we go. Okay. Well, we might as well just look at all the silly ideas now, right? Now, look, these things do work. Having like these P3 pods or pod type transportation, it works in certain instances, but not so much. And of course, where would you think this thing is being built? Take a guess. Where all gadget bonds and all seriously ridiculous, silly ideas go. If you guess Dubai, you're right, because it's going to Dubai. So, and this is the thing, guys. But with so much on the line, right? There's lives at stake in a sense, because people are dying on the roads. People are dying in the air, or they're at some point there's going to be a massive one of these Boeing planes is going to fall out from the sky. We have ourselves an actual way to at least fix our infrastructure just a little bit, right? It'd be nice if we could fix the whole thing, like all these bridges and all the roads, and just give people a chance and give people options so they're not completely chained to their automobiles that are literally bankrupting them. But at least give them a chance. So if you thought this was silly, it's a lot less silly than what this is. Oh boy. Here we go. Hey, there we go.
Approve more than one. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority approve more than $1 million to fund 3 different sporting events. The events are.
Now, be honest, $1 million. At this point, not too much anymore, but still, it's $1 million of taxpayer money.
Expected to attract over 39,000 people to the city with an economic impact of more than $139 million.
I think they may have added 3 zeros too much to that 39 figure.
The most notable is the National Hockey League's plan to hold its first draft in Las Vegas in June.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas Convention and
No, please, I don't want to see this anymore. Oh boy. If you need another reason not to fly, you need oh man. Honestly, if you have family members that willingly work for the TSA or the ATF or any of these 3-letter agencies, just don't ever invite them to your home. Don't ever invite them to family dinners. Ostracize them. It's gone to the point. No, don't work for evil. This is unconstitutional and evil. Don't do it. And I'm making that public. Don't do it. I don't know who would willingly work. There's, I get it. There's a glut of jobs out there, but there's just some things you just should say no to. There really are. Oh man, but yeah, the gadget bond that is the
authority.
And look, they already have one of these going right in Las Vegas. It's kind of a disaster. It's kind of a joke. It's a lot more than kind of a joke. It is a joke. It's a Tesla Model 3 tunnel. It's with rave lights. This is what the almighty Hyperloop had turned into. which we're not hearing any more about it. There's apparently one in China, but there's so many articles already that I'm not going to even talk about that. And we still have a little bit more to go before we get into the calls. I know I've been going on for a little bit more than an hour here, but give it a bit. We should be done with all these articles by 9:20. So give it 13 more minutes, I hope. I'm timing myself. Of course, you have the skeptics. Letter to the editor, $400. So it came out. Somebody just one of the top chiefs at Brightline, or somebody said, maybe it was probably Wes Edens, says his company will have to charge $400 for a round trip ticket. That may be or may not be. Probably $400 for, you don't know, because there's always flexible pricing. And we've seen that with Brightline itself, right? Everybody said, oh, it's too expensive, but people are buying tickets for about the same price as a rental car and gas, or the same price that they would pay for gas, period, to get from Miami to Orlando, or paying, just about as much as they would for an airline ticket. So it's on par with that. And there's always flexible pricing. There's pricing that goes up and down, and there's Brightline's always giving out promotions. So the fact that, or the point, because it's not even a fact, right? We're not even there yet. But the point that it's too expensive, it's really mute. And of course, this is written before we get into the article, right? It's written by Tim Cagney in Beverly Hills. So you can already tell. Kind of of course, anybody who's writing at this point a letter to the editor to the LA Times, living in Beverly Hills, with the name of Tim Cagney, you can kind of already tell what kind of person that is. They probably have like 4 or 5 Corvettes in their garage. Maybe I'm overestimating. Maybe 2 Corvettes, right? But it's obviously somebody has a lot of time on their hands, right? Look, I'm not going to straw man here any longer. It's just silly, right? But let's just go through it. Yes, the train seems to be more relaxing than flying and easier than driving, but a one-way fare of $80 seems too much. Wait, we've gone down? Charged $400? Now we're down to $80. Okay, we're bargaining here. If the company doesn't think it can make money at that price, it would just stop now and give any federal money for the project back so it can be used for something else. Like, I don't know, we gotta help our greatest ally. Give him more missiles. Kill them all. To the other, Amtrak had service from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. The long-distance Desert Wind route ran from Los Angeles Union Station to Salt Lake City. Okay, so he's saying to bring back the Desert Wind, which would take forever to bring back, and Amtrak doesn't really want to bring it back. So this is money better spent. I mean, what, to go back to a 79-mile-an-hour train, or to an actual first world sort of system? Here we are. He's saying, like, I'd rather drive. Perhaps it costs less money to add a dedicated passenger rail along this route and reinstate the Desert Wind. The train would not be as fast, but the scenery would just be as enjoyable. And the gamblers would have more time to count their winnings or lament their losses. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away from a moving train. There we go. From Jalapnik. I don't know what's Jalapnik's need to keep. This is like their 20th article already. It's like that meme, the Jimmy Neutron meme. And it's like, this is the 5th time you've talked about Florida's deadliest railway. Somebody's got to do that meme. Here we are. Brightline trains have killed 9 people in 9 weeks. Let's go through a little mystery here, right? Because we've talked about this plenty of times. And again, disclaimer, I do not speak for Brightline when I say this sort of stuff or anything like that. It's just personal or just a joke. It's just a joke. Tis a jest. Some of the stuff I'm going to say, right? It's just a joke. Disclaimer, just a joke. It's only in Minecraft. A Brightline train killed a pedestrian last night. Not in Minecraft. A Brightline train in Florida hit and killed a pedestrian this week, bringing the high-speed rail's death toll. A bloodbath, like some of our journalists like to write, for the year up to 9 people. The latest, how many people have died on US 1 alone? Let's put that. The latest death on the railway follows 2 back-to-back crashes with cars on the rail. Now, what are cars doing on the railroad? Don't cars have roads? Why are they on the rails? Which sparked an inquiry from the feds into bright line safety standards across the state. Oh boy. On Tuesday evening, a pedestrian was hit by bright line near Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. Let's see some of the other ones. Here we go. 2 SUVs were hit at bright line level crossings in 2 days. The deaths so far have included a 62-year-old man who was killed when his car was hit by a train, and a 35-year-old Emily Kaiser, who was killed by Brightline locomotive in Vero Beach. The details around each of the 8 collisions vary massively. 2 even included drivers attempting to bypass the safety barriers. Oh well. Wait, this one's where was it? Was it the one with the pickup truck? Because that one was kind of I'm definitely not shedding a tear for that one.
A second deadly crash in as many days involving a bright line.
Wow, second deadly crash. Well, when in unstoppable force meets a very movable object, you can say. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, this was it. Yeah, around 12:51 Friday, a Chevrolet pickup truck was traveling west on H. Jackson Street, was struck by a southbound train operating at Eastern. 2 people inside the truck were killed, identified as 54-year-old Michael Anthony DeGasperi and 52-year-old Lisa Ann Balchelder. Well, there you go. And that's the end result. The mighty Chevrolet Silverado. I don't have time to wait. I'm gonna go right through here in my big boy truck until he turns into a sandwich, a panini at that rate. Very thin, a cracker. Now he's turned into one of those very like those wafer thin crackers. Like what was that Jack and the Beanstalk, that Mickey Mouse cartoon where, what was it, Goofy or Donald Duck or whatever, they're slicing the very thin slices of bread to save it. That's what he turned into. What's the similarities with all of this? Trains have hit pedestrians walking alongside the tracks, and even a man who was reportedly laying across the tracks. Well, I don't know you, but I think this guy, either he was very, very sleepy, very, very drunk, or Boeing did not get to him. This wasn't a type of suicide. I've seen suicide by trains. I was on a tri-rail train when somebody committed suicide by train. It is not at all a pretty sight, I will tell you that much. But yeah, what's the similarity with all these people? They were all on there. They shouldn't be. Okay? But anyway, is there a bright future for Brightline? Yes. Next article. I'm trying to save us time here. Inside the $10 billion futuristic city built for a mass human experiment. So this came like 2 or 3 years ago, and funny enough, I was going to do a whole video on it, and I didn't do it. It's the Toyota Sustainable City that they're going to build on the foothills of Mount Fuji. It's called the Woven City, right? And these are the type of models we have to look forward to in trying to build cities, right? Or build villages or towns. Again, this is where the pod things work, okay? If you have at least densely populated places, and of course connecting those densely populated places, and this is going to be built in front of a train station as well. Driverless cars, again, it's Toyota, so I mean they have to build cars somehow. Everything's running on hydrogen. It looks like something out of Apex Legends or whatever, like that futuristic planet or something like that. Something out of a sci-fi, right? It's going to be built by a train station, all that sort of stuff. So this is the sort of things that you want to look forward to. And maybe not this sort of architecture, because I'm not really a fan of the modern architecture. But I mean, look, this is the type of things we're looking for: is more densely populated places where people can actually live and walk and work to places. That's kind of what we're looking for. We'll keep going. So let's go with the Cool Tech Corner. I wish I had a stinger so we could say Cool Tech Corner. There we go. Government approves millions for world's first hydrogen electric high-speed rail technology. That's in Spain. We've talked about this before. They're going to retrofit some diesel high-speed trains, but the government went ahead and approved it. A multi-million-dollar grant. So there you go. If you don't want diesel, or if you want you can't really put electricity, well, you can use hydrogen. That's an option. There we go. More options. World's first maglev train to run on existing track presented. Because one of the biggest issues when it comes to trying to push for maglev has been, well, there's so much rail infrastructure out there. Why can't we already use that? Well, there you go. Maglev, and of course, this is just a test, right? A little bit more substantial than that first Hyperloop test, if you can remember that sled in the dirt. But yeah, this is a possibility that you can have it on multimodal transportation, that they can use both existing rail tracks and probably its own maglev tracks. Alrighty, 917. Engineers develop a train that runs on human waste, a comfortable, modern, reliable, and safe alternative to traveling by car. Well, that will keep India very clean. Oh man! Oh, it's being used to power trains in the United Kingdom. Well, it's basically India at this point, right? Oh man! Biofuel created from sewage, animal waste, and farming crop residues, propelling carriages from ultralight rail partners, which secured a 60,000 pound, about $76,000 grant from the country's government in 2020. Okay, well, don't stand behind it. That's all I can say. But you have options. That's probably not the best option. I'd far prefer the hydrogen if you ask me, but I guess that's something. And last thing we'll end this with. Did you know that Boeing built a train? This one did not fall apart, apparently. This one did not fall apart or try to shoot somebody in the back of the head twice and went away. When we talk about Boeing, we must think about their famous aircraft, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Air Defense Company contracted to build trains. Boeing acquired the Vertol Aircraft Corporation, where the name was short for vertical takeoff and landing, and created Boeing Vertol. At the time of purchase, Vertol was working on designs for a couple of new twin-turbine helicopters that would eventually become the Boeing CH-46 Sea Knight and the CH-47 Chinook. Hopefully it didn't become... oh boy. You know which one I'm talking about, if you guys know. Darn it, I just forgot the name of it. But we're talking about VTOL. The one that keeps killing people, if you know which one I'm talking about. Now I blanked out, and I can see it. I can see the twin rotors going up and down. I just forgot the name, CH something, whatever. You guys in the live stream or the chat can help me. Somebody's got to know. Somebody knows. Let's see. Yes, the Osprey. There you go. Did Boeing build that too? I don't know. But yes, Boeing built some rolling stock for the MBTA, for the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, and for the San Francisco Municipal Railway. They built over 100 vehicles at a contract worth $72 million. Boeing Light Rail Vehicle, or as they say, LRV, not the Lunar Roving Vehicle, had promised to become the standard public vehicle for large U.S. cities. I wonder why that didn't happen, but there you go. It's a little interesting. Boeing had two paths to go to, and they became the villain. All right, exactly 9:20. So here we are. So let's go ahead. We have 7 people in the audience, 4 people with raising their hand. Let's go ahead, step by step, and we're going to keep it 5 minutes for everybody. Let me go ahead and get the timer here. I was trying to... I know I've talked for a heck of a lot more than 5 minutes, but I'm kind of running the show here. Not to be mean or cruel or anything like that, but we're just trying to give everybody time, because the last time some people didn't have a chance to speak, so we're just making sure. 5-minute timer. And it will start when you first speak. So, David Mitchell, co-conductor.
Hey, bud.
How's it going?
Doing good?
Good to go. How are you doing, man?
Pretty good. Val's birthday was great last week. She enjoyed her birthday.
Oh, nice. Wished her a happy early birthday, so I wish her a happy,
Wait for...
Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, the desktop audio is working. I was just making sure. I was just looking at the levels here, and it wasn't working. There we go. Okay, let me just pause a little bit of time there. All right, yeah, but happy early birthday and happy belated birthday, too. So there you go.
She now 29, that for sure. But
we're all getting old.
I do got a quick update with the whole police team, with Val getting pulled over by the cops on her electric scooter.
Oh boy.
The investigation is done, and all he got was a slap on the wrist.
Wait, so you're able to fight it off?
Well, I'm still going to try to press to get the video. That for sure. It might take me a year or so that might take a while.
No, you should. Absolutely. You have, not the Sunshine Laws. What am I talking about? Freedom of Information Act. Just do a FOIA request on it.
Oh, I know. I need to look how to do one because I have never done one before, but...
Just really quick, agencies like to make it hard, or they hide it on the website or whatever. There's ways to just go ahead and send in a letter, notarize it, and send it over directly to the local precinct or the city hall, and they'll get it done. They have to get it done.
Because I still need to get that video because that guy ain't not going to get off scot-free. That's for sure.
Yep, he took responsibility, so you better take responsibility. So there you go. You wanted the badge, take the responsibility. Anyway, anything you want to talk about from any of the articles?
Well, I do get a bombshell about the guy that was killed by Boeing.
Oh, yes.
I actually knew the guy.
You did?
Yep, so you're hearing from me. He used to come by my Walmart because he lived in the Les Ashley area, not far from my Walmart, but he said that when stuff started going to crap there, he said, and did it before he retired, and before he became a whistleblower, he said one of the first things that they started doing was getting rid of anybody who was a straight white man.
All right, say that one more time for the record, David.
He was saying that they would get rid of anybody who was a straight white male. You know?
That's part of, I guess, the DEI or DIE, the diversity, inclusion, equity part of it. Oh, man.
Yep. So me and him talked, and he said, yeah, Plot, I've been to the Boeing plant, and I have noticed some stuff that I do not agree with. Plot, they outline work to, like, voc rehab, because back in high school, I used to do voc rehab or job training.
Right.
And we did have stuff that we did for Boeing, like sorted through parts and stuff for job training and all that at some of the warehouses. So I could confirm some of this.
So you're saying there was a lot of people that were in rehab that were working over at Boeing at the time they were in rehab.
Yeah, and job training, like voc rehab actually trained people to get ready for the workforce.
Oh man.
So I can confirm this because of past experience, because when I graduated from high school, I decided to do voc rehab to get better in the workforce and like where I could be able to get a job. But I knew the guy. He said that how everything going there, he said it was sketchy as hell.
Yeah, and that's very believable from what we've been hearing, right?
And I knew something was going to happen to him. I did not know how, but when I heard that on the news, I said, oh, God, they got him. And with them saying that he was shot in the head twice and they were saying it was suicide, you cannot... That was not suicide. That was not suicide because you can't shoot yourself twice in the head.
Well, I don't know if the reports have, because again, I can't find any confirmed reports of what happened. It's just speculation that he shot himself twice in the head, which would go with like the sort of Clinton handbook of doing suicides. But yeah, I mean this whole thing is sketchy as heck, man.
I know. So because the guy, he had nothing to, like, he had everything to live for. Like, he was not suicidal, that for sure, and I knew him.
All right, yeah.
So, this is a red flag right here, that for sure.
No, definitely, and we gotta end on that, man. But one last thing.
I do need to ask for that quick update on what we were talking about 2 weeks ago about Brightline and all that stuff we were talking about with them screwing over Brightline and trying to kneecap them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave that for a different time, man. But I appreciate it so much. This was some pretty good info, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good night.
You too, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Oh, didn't mean to cut you off right there, man. Sorry. Yeah, okay, so guys, you heard it there from David Mitchell. Again, do we have any recording of that? No, so take it with what you will. Does it seem plausible and believable? Absolutely. It does line up with a lot of the other reports that we've been seeing, but you can kind of say that this is an exclusive from David Mitchell at the American Rail Club, because he does live in Charleston, and that's definitely for sure. And he has talked about being near the Boeing plant. But yeah, this is again, this is stuff that's not surprising, but definitely it's sobering, because we're just seeing the amount of just how much that this diversity, equity. This is beyond the DIE or DIEI, whatever excuse me, as I call it, DIE. Practices that have been talking. We could talk about it now, right? Everybody's talking about it on YouTube, so I can get away with it, whatever. But this is part of what's been going on, right? Is in a bigger picture, we're talking about taking away jobs from people who would be or have the passion to want to work in engineering or STEM or something like that. And for political reasons, for clout, it's being moved to people who may not necessarily be as well trained or well versed or just really have the passion or care to really work there. You know, there's a difference between working for a paycheck and working for a passion, or working for both. Because you kind of want to work for both, right? You don't want to make your passion so much that it's a paycheck and it starts to get on your nerves, but you want to have a little bit, you want to feel a little bit good about what you're doing and what you're selling. But anyway. All right, next on the audience, Minor Tree, come on board.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, yep, loud and clear.
All right, started the clock on my end as well. First point, there was a certain lifelong Democrat who became a successful Republican president to refer to El Salvador and Haiti as a very derogatory term, but El Salvador got their crap together, and now he can change that out for his loved NYC for at least the time being. Well, that's the first point. The second one is was the talk towards the end of the previous stream and points you brought up in this one. The thing you're looking for is the consumer automotive fuel economy standards, or the CAFE standards.
Yes.
And that's primarily the reason why personal vehicles have gotten much bigger and much heavier. But until you, A, find ways of making more efficient engines, or B, getting a better battery chemistry together, that's not going to be solved at all.
Yeah, I honestly, in my view, I think most of the CAFE standards should just be ripped to shreds, and we need to go to a standard which is just more sane. And I mean, we see in other countries where they have smaller cars, and even those smaller cars have had to compete with American cars being imported there, so they've had to become a little bit larger. But yeah, definitely get your point.
Yeah, I mean, there's technically technologies on the horizon that can work that out. To explain that more in detail is probably a 2-hour-long conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, we've got the computer capability of actually working out better air and fuel flows that can make engines more fuel efficient. Pair that with, say, metal 3D printing, so you can actually print out such things and actually work out those engines to be much better, which makes them more fuel efficient. On top of that, you can probably throw in a hybrid system, which can, in a lot of instances, cut the fuel demand in half. But once you combine them all, it's like you're cutting 2/3 to 3/4 of your fuel consumption right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you keep the CAFE standard stable, and now all of a sudden your vehicles are now 3 to 4 times more fuel efficient. So your SUVs and trucks go from 20 miles to the gallon to 60 to 75 miles to the gallon.
Yeah,
So
and
now
you're
all of
seeing
a sudden
that.
it's
Yeah, you're seeing that more of now. Hybrid technology being implemented into a lot of these large vehicles.
yeah, and a lot of those situations they can be solved in the next 5-10 years, and even as I mentioned previously, even if the battery tech was solved tomorrow, you're still talking about a decade out before it would be implemented as standard worldwide.
Oh yeah, you can't ramp
But
up the production that fast, especially with how bad we are with manufacturing now. I mean, we still
yeah, and
we can still manufacture stuff, but nowhere near to the degree and scale that we used to before.
yeah, and even if we take Elon Musk's word from the third time he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, it'll take 25 years just to replace all the vehicles currently on the road. It's like, all right, you're going to build extra kits to convert your ICE vehicles over to hybrid electric drive or fully electric, and then add extra battery packs to replace the current batteries in the current vehicles on top of building new ones. You're still only going to cut that down to maybe 15 years at best. So it's like, congratulations, you get to live with what we have right now.
Yeah.
Which is not the worst thing ever, but you pair that with actually bringing out reductions in just the regulations and all the red tape so you can actually build out more companies, just allow more companies to actually start to begin with and don't punish the ones that already exist. You can then get those small, medium companies to actually challenge the actual big companies that are proving to be incapable. All of a sudden, it's like you don't have to worry about Boeing having issues because now all of a sudden you have 20 different companies to take its place.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Like, choose your replacement company. But I'm down to my last 10 seconds. So after everything, it's like it's going to be a 10-year process at minimum to solve everything.
Yeah, and it's going to take time. Again, at 10 years at minimum, we still have a very, very long way to go. I mean, we're just starting to inch toward having some sort of reasonable momentum.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's my time.
All right. Appreciate you coming on, man.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Okay. All right. See you over there in the audience, Darius, but let's go to Star Force first, and then we'll put you in, okay? Since you have the privileges, the VIP privileges. All right, Star Force 97.
Yeah, so... Okay, so I have... Looking at all this news, I have had a lot of things on my mind, and a lot of things that I've been seeing a lot of things that have been envisioned over the past several decades as fantasy for what the future could look like, and it's starting to material. It's hard to believe how it's starting to materialize, but it's not materializing in the way that you think it is. That's one thing that kind of caught me off guard. For example, the Toyota residential, well, the little Toyota city they're making in Japan.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time that something like that's been tried. Because if you all know, if any of you know or know any Disney history, you know that, Disney tried to make something similar to that.
Oh yeah, Epcot.
And obviously that was what Epcot was. What Disney was trying to make Epcot originally, though, it's been more of an experimental sort of thing than what this is.
You could say it was an experimental prototype city of tomorrow sort of thing.
Yes, it is. Basically what it is. So basically they're trying to kind of revitalize the idea, but in their own... Japan's trying to revitalize the idea, but in their own way. But, I mean, it would have been weird to see what Epcot would have looked like under Disney's original vision before it was obviously remastered into part of Disney World.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, and I remember covering that in one video, just talking about the future and what we really need to rethink of what the future is going to be in this country, because I think a lot of that was really stolen away of what could have happened for this country, but we just went a dark path. Definitely in the mid '60s, you can really say that everything started to go to crap, but it's really kind of a shame. That we didn't see Epcot materialize in the way it's supposed to be. I mean, yeah, they made Celebration Florida, but I mean, that's nowhere near the scale of what they originally were planning for Epcot. I mean, it's just incredible that they were planning for, monorails everywhere, that there was places where cars were going to be banned, fully walkable cities with communities linking up to each other and, centralizing into one sort of area planned out, and then they can still own cars, but they zip over for like a weekend trip somewhere else or whatever. But a full entire city where one can work, play, live, and sleep, and do everything that they needed to do and to live, which is what most of humanity has lived in, villages and towns for most of their life, and that's sort of the thing, is just trying to scale back and scale down to what we have, but also connecting those scaled down areas and regions to each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing that I was wanting to, it brings me to another point that, obviously, what Epcot was supposed to be, most of that is actually now part of Disney World.
Yeah.
They added like Magic Kingdom and everything and whatnot. Obviously, that was going to be part of Epcot, from what I know, basically trying to bring Disneyland over to Florida, trying to mesh the two together. Obviously, that brings Disney World, which in itself has gotten a lot more expensive than when I last visited it. I think it's been almost 10 whole years since I last went, and I honestly could tell how much it's changed over the years, because a place like Disney World used to be a lot cheaper than how it is today, because, well, not just because of inflation, but because of like Disney's practices and some of their change in corporate value and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just really like, it just really goes to show how much things can like improve or deteriorate over the course of 10 years. Actually, I think you said ARC is coming up on its 10-year anniversary when it was back known as the High Speed Rail America Club.
Yeah.
And All Aboard Florida was a thing.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, and you say how you said earlier that we're about 10 years off, about another 10 years off from potentially realizing how our country improving in terms of infrastructure and stuff like that.
Yeah, according to Minor Tree, I would say, in my view, probably, I don't know, things could be worse 10 years from now. Honestly, from my viewpoint, and it's just, again, my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, it's probably going to take a lot longer than 10 years to really see. There may be some places in the country which may see a better time than others. Certainly Florida is trying to separate itself from the rest of the country in more ways than one. But it's just the way things have turned in this country. I mean, you don't know. I mean, we're seeing... I forget who is attributed to this quote. It's either Stalin or Lenin or one of those two dirtbags. But there are times where history happens, years happen in weeks, and weeks happen in years. And we're definitely seeing a point in history where things are happening really quickly, where you're seeing years happening in weeks.
Yeah, two opposite ends. Definitely two opposite ends of the spectrum. But
oh yeah.
But I think, it's this point. It's these kinds of times where I feel like there's more. There should be more that we should do as a collective country, like in terms of individuals, to actually, like to actually continue to actually go and send like, because lately what I've been doing is like I've been sending like letters, well, sending like letters, to like to like my senators, to my reps, like
Yeah.
just really like.
Unfortunately, yeah, I definitely get it, Star Force. Unfortunately, we're a little out of time. We got into a good conversation there. It was the only reason why I was letting it go, and you had some really good points. But we gotta start moving on to the next caller. But I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do.
Yeah.
This was really good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Unfortunately for YouTube, I'm not quite sure why it's coming out of stream status poor. It says error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, YouTube is going to do its own crappy thing. As such, viewers will experience buffering. So that seems to be a YouTube thing. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that, but anyway. And my chat went off for some reason, so we'll just keep things going from here. I monitoring it here. It seems to be all right. So we'll just keep on going. So let's keep going to the next caller. All right, Darius, my brother. Come on aboard. Come on, man. Going once, going twice. Everybody's going to be treated here equally. If you can't get on it fast enough, it's going to have to be going to the next caller. Going once. There you go.
I got it.
5 minutes.
Hi, Demetrius.
Welcome aboard, man. How's it going?
Good.
All right. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, remember that hydrocell technology, that simple hydrocell technology I was looking at when I was looking to see what kind of car I would get once I turned 16.
Oh boy!
And I just saw the HHO, that simple fuel technology that you could get. That water, that all you have to do is just add water and baking soda in a little kit and put it on your car, and it'll instantly get more fuel.
Yeah, just be careful developing anything like that because you can.
I thought more time later, I thought of it as a scam.
I mean, look, it's possible. I mean, yeah, baking soda and water does, create a catalyst effect, but I mean, probably not enough to really move anything substantial, particularly a vehicle holding a person in there. But, again, there's an option. I mean, hydrogen fuel cells are certainly there and are working to an extent. Obviously, it hasn't really been adopted so well for automobiles, but it seems to be catching on a lot better for trains, it seems. The momentum is a lot more for trains.
And about that poop power.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be always equally dynamic. We're going to always have just as much fuel as there are people here.
I mean, you just got to hook it up to Washington, D.C.
or scoop up San Francisco.
Yeah, scoop up San Francisco. Any street in India. I mean, it'll definitely work that way. Oh man, but yeah, it's just kind of it's weird. I'm pretty sure it's possible, but is it an option we really want to go ahead and pursue? I don't know. It seems kind of like a crappy option. Come on. Give me a laugh there or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, anything else you wanted to talk about?
I guess not. No.
All right, so you're gonna make it short and simple. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, Darius.
Right.
All right, have a good night, bud.
Thank you, Demetrius.
Take care. All right. Oh, okay, let's go to Grand Trunk Line. Grand Trunk. Here we go.
Hello?
Grand Trunk Railway. Yep. There you go.
Hello? Doing garbage.
How's it going?
the daylight savings time.
Oh yeah, I can't stand it, man. Can't stand it.
California, what is the matter with you people?
Yeah.
What is this to us?
Let's bring it back again. There you go. Look at that surprise. It's cardboard. Not even. It's but they took like cabinets and just took pieces and bits and parts and just. You can literally see the drills, the drill holes. I mean that's honestly this was disappointing. They could have just keep showing. Just keep showing the work on the viaducts. Keep showing your work on how much more concrete you're pouring, or just wait until you actually pick a constructor and who's going to be doing the rolling stock for California. This was embarrassing. Personally and honestly, objectively, this is embarrassing.
Amtrak's Aero Trains in released concept documentation of their new long distance replacement fleet looked a lot better than California high-speed rail.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Amtrak definitely deserves kudos. They did it well. They did it right. That's how you're supposed to do an interior reveal, not this. Yeah, absolute props for Amtrak for doing it right. But this is awful. This shouldn't have been done at all.
Right.
Yeah, and let me see a firm contract. Oh, boys, here we go. The contractors. This is the bane of California, the high-speed rail. So this was the California High-Speed Rail Authority recently posted a video with Jérôme Chabot of Neo Mind Design Studio. The firm contracted to design these future trains. Showed off a life-size mock-up of some of the cars. Yeah. Why? Was this the same design studio who did the Willy Wonka experience or something in London? This is just terrible. Or was it Scotland? Whatever. Somewhere in the British Isles. Yeah, no, that's an embarrassment. But anyway, anything else you wanted to bring up, Dan?
Yeah, I lost it. I better get some rest.
No, appreciate it. It's okay. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
All right, take care, man. Get some rest.
Yep.
Okay, we probably got to get some rest ourselves at some point, but we got 4 more callers to go through. So hopefully we'll be out of here by 10. Yeah, 10, hopefully. All right, Genesis. Welcome aboard. Yo, doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. Just as an aside, I hope there's a massive wall being built there in the Dominican Republic right now.
Yeah, there is, man. We've been dealing with these Haitians for quite a while now.
No, it's getting crazy. But anyway, man, how are you doing?
I'm feeling great. Thank you very much.
All right.
About the whistleblower.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think that's a suicide, though. I don't think that's a suicide.
No, it definitely isn't. It definitely is not.
I mean, there might be someone on the higher ups of Boeing that want him dead. Actually, that's what I think. What happened?
Yeah, no, it's too sketchy. It's the timing is way too perfect. This is terrible.
I mean, it is kind of much like what reminds me of a certain chef from Martha's Vineyard who got suicidal.
Oh yeah, that too. He decided to drown in the depth of water of Small World. After being a professional swimmer too.
Yeah, it's odd though.
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing is just way too sketchy.
Yeah, it's way too sketchy. Okay, Brightline has gotten a contract with Siemens. They're building the American Flyer. No, it wasn't the American Flyer. It's that Siemens Velaro though.
Oh, okay. So they actually did. Well, this is news to me. They actually did decide on Siemens?
Yeah, they did. It's
Right.
it's confirmed by PensyFan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can bring
I'm
that
gonna-
up real quick. Go ahead, keep on.
I'm gonna put on the. I'm gonna send the tweet to you.
Okay, yeah, put it on the chat here, and I'll get it.
All right. Well. We are getting 2 new stations. The Santo Domingo Metro is getting 2 new stations. You're going to extend that line 2 of the Santo Domingo Metro all the way down to Pedro Brand. So that's kind of new.
Yeah, no, I've been surprised at the developments going on over there in the Dominican Republic. It's pretty interesting to see. You know, it's just two different sides of the same island. It's just you see a complete difference in civilization there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
It is. We're still actually working on the monorail that is in the city of Santiago. So it's still chugging along great, and it's scheduled to be completed by 2025 by next year. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean that's 2025 is right around the corner.
Yeah, it is.
No, but I believe it. I think you guys could probably build it faster than we in America can.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke.
Okay, so about Boeing, I know that I'm actually a fan of Boeing. I remember those 747 that flew across the globe. You don't see that anymore.
No, I mean they've just taken their whole company to just build for short haul and medium haul flights, which is, where the big money maker is, right? Since all the airlines have been pushing for that a heck of a lot more than, there's been an increase of long distance flights for sure, but nowhere near the percentage of where short and medium distance have gone, short haul.
Okay, so about the culture of Boeing, you remember about McDonnell Douglas.
Yeah.
But since McDonnell Douglas merged, Boeing has been going downhill since then. That was in 1995. That's what I've heard from some of some engineers that worked from that time period.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility because McDonnell Douglas was just a different culture. I mean, they've had definitely their mess ups as well with the DC-8s, if I remember correctly or recall correctly, because I definitely wasn't old enough to remember that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just sad the way that American companies have just changed and turned, and it's not one or two bad apples. There's a whole bad batch.
I hope there's going to be I hope there might be another challenger to the Airbus and Boeing duopoly. China so far there's China, and then there's Russia, and then Brazil.
Yeah, well, definitely we got a whole lot of Embraer airplanes, and I've flew on several of them, but they're mostly for short haul or puddle jumpers or connecting flights. They're not really meant for. we're getting like the 145s and 175s, but not the big ones. I'm pretty sure at some point, hell, I'll trust the Brazilian airplanes more than the American ones at this rate. That's without any irony or shadow of doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Airbus is going to dominate the North American market. It's sad to say this as a Boeing fan, but Airbus is going to dominate the American market.
No, and honestly, I would say I've only been on probably actually 2 Boeing flights. And the last time I went was actually coming back from Japan, was on a 787. But yeah, ever since then, every single flight that I've been on has been on an Airbus A320 or A321 or Neo or something. Particularly Spirit, just their whole entire fleet is all Airbus A320s. But even when I've been flying on United, they've all been Airbuses or the typical little Embraer from connecting flights. But Yeah, definitely there's going to be a heck of a lot more Airbus orders coming down right now. Airbus is just they're looking at their pocketbooks. They're like, "Ooh boy, this is our moment."
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
about too.
as long as they stay in the air, that's the only thing. But anyway, Genesis, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure seeing you on.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Pleasure's mine as always.
Of course, man. Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
Alrighty. Okay, I'm gonna lower my personal volume down here a bit, guys. My fiance's trying to sleep, and fortunately, the room is right back there, which is the designs of these houses now. I mean, it's basically it's not even sheetrock anymore. They might as well just make them out of paper mache. But anyway, all right, CTR Lee, let's invite you to speak. Alrighty, CTR, you are on. Okay, up. It's going on and off. Come on, man. Alrighty. Going once.
Hello?
There we go. It always seems to work. Yeah, loud and clear.
Hello, Demetrius, how are you?
Doing alright, how about you?
Just fine. Yeah, so a lot of things been going, so while you guys were talking about things going on in the, US, there are some pretty interesting developments going up here in Canada, too.
Oh, man.
I mean, remember last year the Montreal's RAM system, which is short for, sorry for butchering the French, is the Réseau Express Metropolitan, just commenced service, and it's currently the fifth largest system in the automated trains subway system in the world, and yeah, from what I look at, it's quite impressive too.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. And I should be more familiar with the Canadian metro lines, and I know for sure that the Toronto one is pretty, and Vancouver is also pretty robust. But yeah, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, unless you're one of the ones who have to run the TTC every day, because people are basically just fed up. I mean, last year we got one of the lines shut down due to negligence and maintenance, and people were not happy. The city council was not happy about it.
Oh man.
Yep. But that line has been due to replace for quite a while. So they just so during the later years they are just basically phoning it. They're just basically phoning it in and just close enough. We're just gonna let the system run, and we can just shut it down prematurely. So we can get commenced on the work.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad they didn't catch that earlier. I mean, just to cause a shutdown. I mean, it'd be better for them to just say, "Hey, we're shutting this down just to start maintenance," rather than have it shut down because of it's broken. We need to start doing maintenance now.
Yeah, but then I also remember there's the whole line 5 the whole Eglinton light rail debacle, which is typical North American project management, with all the kinds of delays, strikes, and things like that, and they are still ongoing right now. I mean, that project started all the way back in 2011, and it still haven't commenced service yet, despite all the civil engineering work has been done, and the trains are testing.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting how Canada kind of follows the United States. I mean, they're doing a little bit better when it comes to, in some cases, right, to metropolitan and intercity rail, but not when it comes to like Via Rail is kind of sometimes in a worse situation than Amtrak.
Yeah, I mean they also have Via Rail is kind of like the U.S. They also have to run on trackage owned by both Canadian National and the CPKC. The CPKC. So that means like our American counterparts, we have our passenger trains also have to get sidelined because freight trains got dips on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be some kind of regulations on both sides of the border, basically to mandating that freight railroad operators have to let passenger trains go first. So this way, passengers not gonna complain a lot when it comes to punctuality, and it may draw people back to passenger rail in some cases.
I mean, but that's the thing. There is a law and there is a regulation. The problem is that it's never enforced, and that's our biggest issue. Is like, what's the point of having these laws if they're only selectively enforced for a few when it comes to their benefit, but not to the benefit of the actual people itself that are using it.
But what's stopping them? I'm still kind of curious. Is that what's stopping them from enforcing it? So why didn't it enforced?
The massive might of the Class 1 railroads. They will completely and collectively, if they're not already have bought out most of Congress from this, they will find a way to say that, oh, this is actually a bad law, and they'll shut it down. Because that's the thing. The minute they start touching that law, because Amtrak has, but it's to the point that Congress usually ignores it. But and here's the thing: if Amtrak squeaks way too loudly and says this is unfair, we need this law gone ahead and actually enforced, that's where you're going to see Congress all of a sudden say, oh, this is an anti-business law and this is not good for business, and they'll go ahead and kill the law.
Speaking of which, I also remember that one of the ideas I had a bit earlier. So around 2017 I was looking at the European style model, and they basically had the government basically owning all the kind of trackage, and the railroad operators are basically kind of running trains on the tracks that belongs to the government. So kind of like an interstate on railroad. But I'm not sure if we can put it on this side of the Atlantic, because I know the Class 1's gotta be mad about it.
I mean, it's definitely possible if, let's say, it's owned by either one large conglomerate, or if we do like something similar to the Japanese model, but yeah, probably the Spanish model, maybe more feasible in some areas where the government owns or a large government-owned company owns the rail lines, and then you have a mixture of private and public companies running on that line competition. That's definitely a possibility.
What's stopping it? I mean, the freight railroad operator. The kind of whole thing that the whole passenger rail falling apart in the North America was kind of due to the freight railroad companies they have to own the trains and the infrastructure themselves.
Yeah, so what it definitely comes down to is business as usual. You do something like that, it's going to cause a lot of disruptions to the way that the freight railroads are doing business, especially with precision scheduled railroading. That will definitely cut into their bread and butter. That's, unfortunately now just freight. Of course, back in the day where you had multiple railroad companies, doing both freight and passenger railroads, you had much more of a cooperation between the two different modes. But the thing is that now everything is completely focused onto freight. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, the United States does own and operate the largest and most robust freight railroad system in the world. But at what cost is that, going into passenger rail, which was the dominant mode of transportation before, and it still is in many places.
That's interesting. I mean, kind of reminds me of like how Via Rail in Canada just rebrands their Canadian as the Canadian train, which goes from Toronto all the way to Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like a luxurious cruise train.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of similarities, a lot more similar to the United States and Canada, especially when it comes to infrastructure. But anyway, CTR Lee, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
By the way, tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy early birthday, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care. Everyone. You too. Okay, let's try to keep it. Oh, there we are. How do I get that? All right, just ignore that one, CTR Lee. All right, we got 3 more people to go through. Let's go ahead and see if we can get through quickly. All right, Adam Everywhere. Welcome aboard. Okay, well, I guess not. All right, Tobio Kageyama.
Evening. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, man.
Good. So, well, Boeing, I mean, what's your problem? I mean, a whistleblower, a former whistleblower of your size for some reason is suicide, I guess maybe. But not only that, but many engine failures, doors breaking at this point. I mean, what the hell is your problem at this point? I mean, you even have your own employees in your own factories just going on crack and everything. And I mean, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, no, it's I mean, they've really dug themselves a big hole here. And the thing is that if this happened maybe 20, even 10 years ago, probably people wouldn't bat an eye. But especially now, I think the biggest thing that it's really going to kill Boeing is the amount of social media, especially now since Twitter, or now X, is X Extreme, as it now wants to be called. The amount of people now, it's been a heck of a lot less fettered than it used to be before, and people have a lot more that they can say without being censored. So yeah, it's gonna go. People are going absolutely wild on Boeing to the point that people are refusing to fly on anything that's made by Boeing.
Yeah, and, last month I actually traveled to I actually traveled for the I actually traveled on a plane, and it was a Boeing 737 on an Alaskan Airlines. So to be honest with you, and just the fact that I was near one of the emergency exits, to be honest with you, I was kind of scared if I'll have the same experience too, and almost have myself stuck out the door.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is I mean, it was already bad enough that Boeing had to deal with revamping their image because of all the complete failures, but they're really digging themselves a hole. And no matter how you look at it, even let's say, for example, you get Columbo on the case for this guy's suicide, and he completely finds out that there was no way that this was a murder or anything like that it actually was a suicide, which it probably wasn't, which is probably why you need like a Columbo type guy to really look into this. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the investigators haven't been looking at the timing of this and everything, right? It's just way too. It's at the point that I mean, it's looking like to people, Boeing and any large military industrial complexes, Boeing is definitely part of it, will definitely kill you if you try to whistleblow about them.
Yeah,
and that's honestly, that's one thing I did forget to really bring up about is that, how much, and it's like, people think, well, Boeing just makes planes. They make a lot more than just planes, which is, why something like this is definitely not out of the question. If somebody did this at Raytheon, or if somebody did this at, any other military industrial complex, or Lockheed Martin, this especially at those companies, you probably want to hear about it. But the reason why this is happening now to Boeing is because of the string of bad news and accidents and parts flying off of planes. Yeah. But anyway, you had anything else to add into it, or?
Yeah, well, sorry. Well, because I kind of missed most of the live stream. CNBC did a kind of good coverage on the current state of TCR, I guess, and I guess that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was going to put that on, but we had like so many other things to go through. Definitely, I'm going to put it on for next time.
Yeah, and it was pretty good actually, and So kudos to. Hang on, let me just. So yeah, thanks to.
I think it was the local Texas correspondent.
No. Well, so yeah, kudos to Pussy Fan for posting the link for you can.
Oh yeah.
For that video for us on general chat.
Yeah, that's for for Siemens now, which we all knew that's what it was going to be. It wasn't going to be Alstom.
Yeah.
For sure, we knew that Brightline West was going to pick Siemens. Now, the big question is, who's California High Speed Rail going to pick? We may have a third runner in there, and it's called Home Depot.
Wait, what?
Okay, I don't know if you've seen this, but basically let me see, where is it? So if you can see the stream, California High Speed Rail unveiled what the mock train sets, and it was basically these white plaster cabinet sets, and basically they took wood panels and put it together. It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna look like this, and it's like basically the Willy Wonka experience, but for high speed rail.
I have a feeling I saw that thing.
Yeah, not a good look. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. The Korean the Korean company that makes the KTX server, I heard that they're also kind of interested in building their train sets for CHSR, but I don't know. I have a feeling that considering how Brightline was also to Siemens, I don't know. I have a feeling that they're also going to go for Siemens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very much doubt that the Koreans will get it. Honestly, definitely not the Japanese at this point, so there's going to be a far less chance of the Koreans. But yeah, it's definitely down to Siemens or Alstom.
Yeah. Yeah, because, Japanese are I'm pretty sure we'll be busy again with, helping to revive TCR for now, so, I don't know. I'm not really sure if we could see the Japanese helping out another American project, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, they still have a chance if TCR can come back. I mean, you never know. It could be a collaboration between them and Brightline, because Brightline has also had some interest in there, but just in the grapevine. But anyway, all right, Toby, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you too.
All right, take care.
You too.
All righty. And last but not least, Rennell Reed, to go ahead and close it off. There we are. All right, Rennell Reed. There we are. Okay, you got yourself on mute, buddy. All right, Rennell, your mic. Okay, man, going once.
Hey.
Every time I do that, there we go. How's it going?
Hey, Demetrius, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm a little late to the game, but missed a lot of the live stream, but I still wanted to pop in.
No worries, no worries.
About what I did hear about the Boeing thing, it's a lot of bad happening with Boeing with airplanes nowadays.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely not the type of news that you want, because it paints, again, like I said before, either way, whether this was intentional or not, it paints a very bad picture because of the timing, and timing, especially with this, is everything. Yeah, and
they will kill you if you want to whistleblow.
Oh yeah, and nobody's buying it anymore, right? Because whatever happened with Epstein, right? Nobody believes that he was suicide. And that's the thing. It's just like what's if you're looking at the public pulse of how people are thinking, they're not taking the mainstream side of things anymore. They're very much tired of it. They very much, especially, it would be different if the economy was well and all good and dandy, but it's not. So people are upset. Yeah, exactly. People are upset. People, and they're gonna point the fingers, and definitely the finger's gonna be pointing to the guy who's in charge, or whoever's in charge, right? Or the people who are in charge. So, yeah, this is the result of it.
Okay. What I did hear from the stream, you said something about Brightline, how they're. What I do know now, their Stewart is getting a station.
Yep, Stewart, Florida is getting a station in the Treasure Coast, right there, smack dab in the Treasure Coast, which is good. That's more stations. It's better for everybody.
But they want to keep to their promise of express rail service. I think that's what Goddard had mentioned.
Yeah, Patrick Goddard. Yeah, and I think they're going to stick with that. I mean, there may be different levels of Brightlines, very similar to like what the Shinkansen has, right? That the Shinkansen is, of course, it's going to be faster than the regular normal trains that you have in Japan, But there's 3 levels of the Shinkansen, where there's the first level, which is going to stop at every stop, and then the second one's going to stop at every other stop. Yeah, and then the third one, which is the like the Tokaido Shinkansen, that's going to go to only the major stops. So that's.
And then they should have a semi express that will make a few stops, and a local that makes all stops.
Yeah, exactly. And that may be, a cheaper ticket to go to. Yeah, you're having, more stops, but it's definitely faster still than driving.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a member of a FB group, Brightline Train Community, where they are like fans of Brightline, and they're like tickets selling out.
Oh yeah, I mean that, and the amount of promotions that Brightline does, which is a good thing, right? You want to get people to have a taste of the Brightline experience and to get into that, because that's the great way to really go ahead and sell, and people will go ahead and tell others. I mean, word of mouth has always been the best way to market anything. So that's the best way to do it, is get people on it, let people talk about it. If one person talks to 10 other people, and those 10 other people get on it, I mean, there you go. If you're doubling, squaring your right there.
And someone in the group mentioned something about a train in Montana, or I mean Wisconsin, called the something Express.
Are you talking about the Hiawatha?
That's been on and off with funding for like 15 years.
It probably could be the Hiawatha. Yeah, that's where my fiance is from, Wisconsin. So, and her grandmother used to work for the Milwaukee Road, which is why I wear the cap. So, yeah.
But it's becoming more and more like solidified in Florida. Like more and more people are just using it.
Oh yeah, no man, it's really a great thing, and I know we've talked about this for years, but yeah, you've been spot on of the ways that it's really going to become a success, is that it's going to take time, but once people get to ride on it, I mean, you've said this years ago, but once people get to ride on it, it really sells the experience that, wait a second, this can be adapted to other places. We can take this to New York, we can take this to the Midwest, we can take this wherever and adapt it to those areas, and it will work.
Like people from those states who have been to Florida and ridden it, that's like being communicated back to their state.
Oh yeah.
Like how can we have it here?
Yeah, like in the congressional meeting on high-speed rail and technology, I think it was 2 years ago. I mean, Brightline was the darling of the whole conversation. I mean, you had Hyperloop, and you had Amtrak on there, and you had several other rail companies. I mean, nobody even cared about Hyperloop. Like, they had one little thing to say, and they're like, yeah, whatever, get out of here. And Amtrak was like, but we're the only company that runs a real high-speed rail, and people were just saying,
no, you're not.
Yeah, now people were just like, gee, I wish you can bring this over to the congressman from Illinois, and congresswoman over from Arizona, Nevada, and of course now it's being built in Nevada, to California, and in other places. The model works. It's doing well. That's the type of thing. It's showing that it can be successful. Is it going to take time for Brightline to make an actual profit? Yeah, just like every company, because the big thing that they're saying, well, it made an operating loss over a year or whatever. Yeah, they just started to go to Orlando. I mean, you're going to say that Apple didn't make a profit for 10 years. Samsung didn't make for 10, 15 years. So yeah, it takes time.
You said in one of your videos, very few startups make a profit in their first few years of operation.
Yeah, no, it's stupid to expect that all of a sudden, oh yeah, it's going to make money all of a sudden off the and if it costs $0 to build and they don't have to pay their employees, yeah, it will make a profit. But no, it has to take time in order to ramp up and scale up. I mean, for libertarians that are so economically minded, with all these schools of it's just really silly that they're just so stuck in theory and not in reality.
So now they have a Siemens is gonna do the Valero.
Yep, it's apparently it's official. Let's go to the actual Siemens website, which, I mean, that's the arbiter of all things.
And I suspect California will follow suit and
Yeah.
also go with Siemens.
Okay. Oh, wait a second. Siemens shortlisted to design and build train sets for California high-speed rail too. Oh, okay. Well, then we may have two news. So they may be doing. Okay, it looks like they're doing both Brightline and California high-speed rail. Oh no, the shortlisted. Never mind. I read that wrong. It's getting too late, but it most likely will. Give it another 2 or 3 months, and we'll hear the news that Siemens will probably also get Brightline. But yeah, transforming American rail, Siemens mobility to build America's first high-speed train for Brightline West. So yeah, the first high-speed train in America will be of German design. Anyway, man, last thing you can say, or you're all good?
Yep. I wished it was Shinkansen, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll take it. At this rate, we will take it, absolutely. All right, appreciate you coming on, Ronell. Really do.
You too.
All right, take care, man. Good night.
Right.
Okay, guys. Well, that does it for us over here. But yeah, a lot of, again, crazy news in 2024. Like I said, it's going to be one doozy of a year. But yeah, a lot of good information, a lot of good news, at least towards the end, right? But a lot of crazy things. But that's the thing. We have to look at both the bad and the good. We're being realistic here, right? We cannot just be completely pessimistic or optimistic, because with some black pills you have to take some white pills too, right? You have to get yourself to just say, no, everything doesn't have to be terrible. Yes, it's going to be bleak, it's going to be hard, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice, but you have to just keep going forward. Sometimes you just have to take it day by day, but as long as we're still here, as long as we're still kicking, we keep going. All right, so keep on struggling out there. Yeah, I know my avatar on on Discord says it all, but you got to just embrace the struggle. Just keep going, guys, okay? But thank you all for joining on board. And for those of you on YouTube too, you guys are also pretty incredible yourselves. Yeah, I've been checking in and out over here, but this is, again, another great stream. Good to see you guys on here. So this ends our stream over here. This train has reached the station. Thank you all for joining on board. Keep on touch, because now I have finally a working phone. I finally just bit the dust and said, you know what, let me just get a working phone. YouTube posts. I'm 15 years too late to say YouTube poops, right? It's YouTube posts are finally working on this phone, so I'll probably be doing more of those. Get more active on Discord. So finally things are working. So thank you all for coming on board. We will see you all next time. Godspeed.